Welcome back to another of our revision exercises. I'm going to move this up here so that, I'm going to put it on this side. If you had not seen the first video exercise, revision exercise that we did on this topic, hazards and disasters, I'm going to ask you to find that video clip and I want you to go through it. In this presentation, we are going to be focusing on some other concepts that's important for you to understand. Some definition of some terms, explanation of those terms so that you will be better prepared for your examination. Again, as was stated in the first presentation, you have these handouts. Take the handout with you and go through the handout as we explore the content thereof. All right. So this afternoon, we are going to be looking at some key content. So we want to start by looking at weather. Our children generally, and that came out in some activities that were given in class. So we are going to have to focus on our children generally mix up key terms such as weather and climate. And it is important that you do not mix up these concepts because should you get them in your examination or in their activity, you should be able to can differentiate the two. So in front of you on your handout, you have a definition there for weather, the state of the atmosphere over S-H-O-R-T. S-H-O-R-T, let me highlight it for you. Short period of time. S-H-O-R-T. Can I underline it? Can I underline it? Yes, I underline it. Can I bold it? Yes, I bold it for you. Sit there. Short period of time. That's weather. Do not mix it up. So it is what you see, is what happens around you daily. The weather today is. The weather yesterday was sunny, it was rainy. All right? It was humid. It's a short period of time. Are we together? Wonderful. Now, the things that you experience in the weather condition, we call those weather elements. So when the time is sunny, when it is cloudy, when it is rainy, when it is humid, when it is cold, when it is foggy, when it is windy, those are examples of weather elements. Weather elements is what make up the weather. Don't mix it up. So if I were to ask you what the definition of the weather is, you should be able to can tell me. If I were to ask you to give me some elements that would comprise that would describe the weather that you experience today, you should be able to can tell me that it was hot, or it was cold, or it was windy, or it was chilly. Another name that we can use to describe these elements is precipitation. That's the family name. We use the family name to describe these elements. It's important that you remember that. Don't mix them up. So if you don't understand, stop the video at this point and replay so that you get into your head the concepts of weather and weather elements. All right. Now, students generally mix up now weather with climate. Climate is a different kettle of fish. Climate is the weather conditions that you have observed or you have recorded over a long period of time. Again, the key word, the key concept here is over. I'm highlighting it for you. Over a long period of time. Do you want me to underline it for you? There you go. Do you want me to bold it for you? There you go. Climate, long period. Weather, short period. Climate, long period of time. Climate is made up of all the weather conditions that we have observed or that we have recorded, take note of over a long period of time. That period of time could be a month ago. You don't say the weather a month ago was, because it's a long period of time. You say the climate over a month ago for the past month was, the climate for the past year was, the climate for Jamaica, for St. Catherine, or the climate that we experienced over 6 weeks ago was not weather. The weather the weather the weather at Veer yesterday was, but the climate at Veer over the past 6 weeks was. Are we together? It's over a long period of time. Now, climate, let me undo that and let me undo that. Now, the climate of a place is determined mainly by several factors, and these include the latitude. Latitude has to do with where the place is located. So, for example, Veer is located on a plain, Veer Plain, right? And the Veer Plain is close to the sea. So the climate that Veer normally, no, the weather that Veer normally experience on a daily basis, or the climate that Veer constantly experience over the years, is that it is hot or humid and dry because of where Veer is located. But if you were to travel from Veer and go, let us say, Moko, where you go up into the hills, all right, then the climate, the weather conditions, or the climatic condition in Moko would be different because of the latitude. The higher up you go, is the cooler it gets. Always remember that. The higher up you go, is the cooler it gets. So latitude, which deals with location, where it is located, is important. For the Caribbean, for Jamaica, right, we are located in the tropical zone, right? Our latitude is, well, leave that for a moment. We are located in the Caribbean, in the tropical zone. That's our latitude. All right. So Jamaica, generally speaking, would be in a tropical environment. So it would be generally hot. All right. Another condition that that determine climate is the distance of the land from the sea. Right. So the further away from the sea is, the hotter it will be. The closer you are to the sea, then you are getting the cool breeze. So you tend to be cooler in a general sense, yes. All right. So the distance from the sea will determine the climate of the area. The height of the land is also another area. That we're talking about the altitude. Altitude has to do with how high you go. All right. So the higher you go, the cooler the place is. The lower you are, the hotter the place is. All right. The wind that is generated determines. Wind generally tends to cool the place down. So if you're in an environment where you don't get a lot of wind, you don't have a lot of hills, you're further away from the sea coast, right? Then the place tends to become very hot and humid and dry. And then the shape of the land, how the land is shaped, will also determine the climate of the place. All right. Now below that we have a diagram which is important for you to understand. I want you to take some time to look at the diagram. Spend particular time and notice the following. We are not interested in the major lines of latitude. That's on your left of your screen. We are interested of the diagram. We are interested in what is on the right side of the diagram. So at the top, which is in blue, you have the frigid zone. That's the polar zone. That area is generally cold. All right. So most of that place don't see a lot of sunlight. So it's generally cold. So the climate in that place would generally be cold. You get it? Now that which is in orange, or is that orange or yellow? Yeah, yellow shade of yellow, right? That place is usually temperate. The temperate zone is what usually give you the 4 seasons distinctly: summer, autumn, winter, spring. So when you go to these countries like England, or the northern part of the United States, or Germany, or Japan, these places are usually in the temperate zone. They can distinctly decipher the seasons. So they know when it is summer, it's going to become hot, warm. They know when it is autumn, all right, it's starting to cool down. right? So the climate is changing. The trees are losing their leaves. They know when it is winter, the place becomes cold, snow starts to fall. They know they have to prepare for that. They know when it is spring, right? The snow is thawing out, the ice is thawing out. The trees during the winter would have lost their leaves. So the trees are now starting to rebud, right? So spring is coming, right? So they know that it is going to go into summer where they can plant and reap fruits or whatever, right? Now, the one that is in, what's that, pink? The one that is in pink, right? It should actually be red. That's the tropical zone, right? That's those areas that's immediately above and immediately below the equator, the tropical zone. That's the hottest part of the earth. That's where Jamaica is located. That's where the Caribbean is located. That's where the northern part of Africa is located. That's where part of the middle part of Asia is located. That area is the most fruitful place on the planet. All right, but it is generally hot, right? That's the area where you get hurricanes. That's the area where you get a lot more rain. That's the area where you see a lot more green trees, a lot more vegetation, right? I'm going to come to that concept in the next presentation. Vegetation, right? So that area has generally one season, and that's summer. That's summer all year round. It's the same temperature. When it comes down to the December time, the winter time, that those in the temperate area, little cold breeze come down our area, but it doesn't change the condition much. All right. So Jamaica. Listen to me carefully now. Jamaica is located in the tropical zone. Because Jamaica is located in the Caribbean, is located in the tropical zone, it is influenced by other areas. So for example, by other things. So for example, the islands of the Caribbean, where we live, is, Jamaica is an island. Most of the territories in the Caribbean, they are islands. So they are surrounded by the sea. So there are two things that's impacting them now. You have their location, which is that they are located in the tropical zone, and the territories are surrounded by the sea. Where they are located and the fact that they are surrounded by the sea affect their climate. So listen to me carefully now, students. The climate of Jamaica, or the climate of the islands of the Caribbean, is called tropical marine. It is tropical because it is located in the tropical zone. It is marine because it is strongly influenced by the Caribbean Sea, the wind that comes off the Caribbean Sea. So the heat, because of where it is located, and the wind that comes down gives you that nice warm temperature that generally permeates the Caribbean region, that generally permeates Jamaica throughout all year round. So our temperature, our climate is relatively constant all year round. And that's why so many people, when it comes to winter time in the United States and Britain and other parts of the world, they like to flock to the Caribbean, they like to flock to Jamaica because they want to enjoy the Jamaica's climatic conditions. All right. Our weather is beautiful. Our climatic condition is wonderful. All right, and people from all over the world loves it. All right, thank you very much for paying attention in this presentation. If you would like, if you don't understand something, replay the video presentation and make sure that you understand the concepts. Do not fail our exams. Grade 8, don't fail our exams. I wish you well in your studies. Looking forward to doing the next video presentation as we continue our revision exercises, and I trust that you will do well. Have a wonderful evening, and please study hard.